So I guess first of all, I'd just love to say thank you everyone who's joining us, Vlad, Millie, and all our lovely clients at the top here. We're really excited about this opportunity with Ponders and with Ponant. Um, we've been talking about doing something like this for a long time, and Millie, out of all of us, is definitely the most excited because she's hopefully going to be joining you on this really special experience. Um, the really big thing that we love doing here at Ponders, and some of you know, is these escorted trips. So we love making these really big, sometimes a little bit overwhelming experiences feel a little bit more manageable for you by sending one of our lovely team along. And we know that by working with Ponant, we're picking a really good product that's going to tick all the boxes for these clients. So Millie, hopefully, and her husband Owen will be coming along. Millie's been lucky enough to do Antarctica in the past, which she'll get onto shortly. And has just been desperate to go back. So
That I have, yes.
we just thought this was a must. As mentioned briefly right at the start, we're going to have a little time for Q&A right at the end. But as we go, if any questions pop up, please pop them in the chat box. Obviously, we might cover that as we go along. That's fine. But if not, we'll go through them and give you a little opportunity at the end as well. So first of all, I'd like to properly introduce Vlad. He's joined us from the Ponant team. Can you start, Vlad, by just giving us a quick overview and introduction to Ponant as a whole and why that product stands out in kind of an ever-growing expedition market?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Tori, Victoria. Thank you, Millie. So, firstly, I just wanted to say there's something rather fitting about discussing and talking about Antarctica while we're all quietly melting in a
Sweating.
great British heat wave, So, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Vlad from Ponant. I'm with the company. This is my seventh year now. So, and it's an absolute pleasure to be here online with you tonight. And I'm grateful to Ponders for this wonderful opportunity. So, thank you, Victoria. Thank you, Millie, for your support. And I'm genuinely excited to unveil a little bit about Ponant to you, and I've prepared a few slides, some of which are my photos from the ship Boreal, on which I went last year. So I'm just going to share my screen, and hopefully in a moment you will be able to see it on your end. So do let me know if you don't. Okay.
Yeah, we
Fantastic.
can see that. Can everyone else see that? Yeah, thanks, Kevin. Perfect.
Amazing. Amazing. Great. Thank you. So, Ponant was founded in 1988 by merchant navy officers and captains. And they had a bold vision to bring the spirit of true exploration and discovery to the world of cruising. And that adventurous DNA still shapes what we do today. So Ponant's ships are purpose-built for reaching the ends of the Earth, whether it's pioneering new routes to the geographic North Pole or privatizing a beach for the day in Seychelles or Islet, or docking in a secret port of call in Melanesia or Micronesia. With captains and crew who genuinely live and breathe adventure. So there's a real sense of camaraderie on board. And the open bridge policy, for example, means that you can chat to the captain and officers, swap stories with the expedition team, and really feel part of the journey, part of the team. We've been in industry for over 35 years. The French flair runs through everything Ponant does, from elegant design and fine dining to the warm, personalized service. Yet it's always paired with hands-on, curious approach to discovery. And we ensure that every day brings something new and something unexpected. So for those who want more than just the cruise, for those who are looking for that exploration and expedition, who want to feel the thrill of true exploration, guided by people who've spent their lives at sea, Ponant stands out as the line where adventure and sophistication genuinely go hand in hand. And we've been doing it for nearly 40 years now.
Amazing. That's brilliant. Well, and again, that's exactly why we've kind of picked this specific product out of all of the options out there. There's many reasons, but everything that you've just described tick all those boxes. Um, Obviously, we're looking more on this side at the expedition side of things. There's a range of other offerings from Ponant. Can you tell us a little bit more about that, about the expedition side and how that looks on board the ship?
Absolutely, I'd love to. The ship. So I was lucky enough to travel to Antarctica last February, March on board Boreal, so the ship last year, 24, and I'm genuinely excited to share a bit of that. So I've prepared a few of my own photos and a couple of videos as well. Hopefully, inspire you to visit this remarkable little known corner of planet. It's truly unlike anywhere else. So Le Boreal is the embodiment of Ponant's spirit of exploration. She's a purpose built by seafarers who know what true adventure means. And she's designed to take you right into the heart of the world's most remote and breathtaking places. And so Boreal's ice class strengthened hull, she essentially lets us slip quietly into the polar waters. And in fact, Ponant's fleet, the Boreal and the sister ships, Austral, they are one of the quietest ships in the industry. And so each and every ship has its own fleet of Zodiac boats, which are sort of the equivalent to a safari truck, but on water, right? So that will be your taxi, so to speak. So this means that you're never far from your next close up experience of wildlife encounter or landing on a pristine shore. World-class expedition team on board, of course. So we've got naturalist guides, we've got scientists, we've got glaciologists, marine biologists, seasoned guides, and each and every day you will have, as I like to say, edutainment package for you. So what really makes Boreal special is this camaraderie and curiosity as well. So you can chat with the captain on the open bridge, join spontaneous excursions when the weather or wildlife calls, and feel like you're part of true expedition. And on this slide, we have here, you have two inviting restaurants on board as well. So there's no chance of going hungry there. There is an a la carte spot down on deck 2. And if you fancy a bit more laid back, then you can head up to deck 6 for the grill and buffet, which is ideal for a relaxed bite with a view. And each lunch and dinner comes paired with just the right white and or red wine and rosé as well for dessert. And so naturally, there's free-flowing champagne to keep things that extra cheerful as
That's
well.
important, yeah.
And speaking of edutainment, so there's a proper theatre on board. So this is where our expedition guides and special guests share their fascinating work. You'll find all sorts of interesting sessions here, from photography workshops to documentaries, and it's also where the expedition team leader holds daily briefings and debriefings, so you're always in the know about what's coming up next. And here's one of my photos. It's we're a team of 16 expert naturalist guides. So every day on board, we learn something new and exciting about the flora, the fauna of Antarctica. We all know Antarctica is covered in ice, of course, but I didn't realize, or I didn't know that, hidden beneath it lies the deepest canyon on land, which is astonishing 3,500 meters below sea level, which is actually deeper than the Grand Canyon. So it's little things like this you learn every day, thanks to the experts we have on board with us.
Brilliant. Sounds really exciting. Yeah, amazing. Have you got any more pictures and imagery from your trip that you want to share as well?
Yeah. I do, of course. It was such a beautiful experience. I mean, if you were to ask me, obviously I did the similar itinerary to the one that we are talking about tonight. I just did the peninsula, the shorter cruise, and honestly, every single day felt like a highlight.
Wow.
No two were the same. We saw Adelaide penguins, we saw Gentoo, chinstrap penguins, all wonderfully inquisitive creatures, and they seemed just as interested, if not more, actually, just as interested in us as we were in them, actually. um, yeah, but what I really appreciate on board is how accessible the expedition team, of course, that's almost a given, but also the captain and the officers are. So they're out and about throughout the journey. So our guests absolutely love it, that it makes the whole experience feel more sort of personal and engaging. So the image on the right is the captain, and the left image is our group on a Zodiac boat excursion where we were enjoying a glass of Wev next to a million-year-old glacier, and we had Gentoo penguins swim alongside it. It was absolutely magical.
Oh, how often can you do that? Yeah.
Yeah, not every weekend, I'm afraid. Got a little video here as well, so hopefully you can see all right on your end. So yeah, so in the middle it's a quick video to help kind of hopefully bring the experience a bit more to life. And I have to say, I found these little icebergs, or they're called bergy bits, absolutely fascinating. Each one of them, it looked as if it had been sculptured by an artist, just waiting for us to arrive and admire them. It was just absolutely incredible. There we go. And so, yeah, every Zodiac excursion is accompanied by a naturalist guide who will explain some of the fascinating phenomena we encounter and share stories about the wildlife and the geology all around us. So, yeah, so think of a Zodiac cruise as a bit of like a safari, only here we're exploring some of the world's largest desert, which is the just more ice than sand here, of course. And just a couple more words in terms of the Zodiac excursions. When it comes to shore and Zodiac excursions, the whole boarding process is boarding the Zodiacs. It's quite smooth and well organized. It's something you would expect anyway from a specialist line. But I must reiterate that you do need to be able to move about independently. But honestly, it's all very straightforward. Nothing to worry about, really. So yeah, so this is my video from the trip. So as you can see on the screen here, where we're just boarding in the aft deck on the marina.
Nice.
So it's nice and smooth. And for the shore excursions, you can expect at least one shore excursion each day, weather permitting. And the team really does their best to maximize your time ashore whenever it's possible. But there are regular Zodiac taxis running back to the ship every 25, 30 minutes or so. So you can come and go as you please. It's nice and easy, whatever the weather decides to do.
Yeah. Lovely.
And
That's great. Yeah, keep going.
I'm really excited to share this highlight as well. It's one of my, if you were to ask me what's one of my top highlights, I would have to say this is amongst one of my top highlights, and that is kayaking. Yeah, kayaking was an absolute standout for me. There's nothing quite like gliding so close to the water and watching sunlight sparkle like a million of diamonds, and then having penguins darting alongside my kayak. So it's on the way back to the ship. Actually, that's a little video I must play here. There we go. I'm obviously a professional videographer. And yeah, just as we were making our way back to the ship after the kayaking adventure, we had this absolute pleasure of a young humpback whale popping up and to give us a friendly wave.
Wow.
So you can see the whale tail right there. Yeah, it was one of those moments you never quite forget. It's like a real pinch me experience.
That was incredible.
And yeah, I mean, then you're back on board and you're treated to all the creature comforts. Think freshly baked pastries, proper cuts of organic meat, fine cheeses, and plenty more waiting for us after a day out exploring. And what's actually especially lovely is the included steam room, hammam steam room on board, which is available as part of your package. So there's nothing quite like slipping in there after a day out exploring and learning. And it's just the perfect way to unwind. I mean, what more can you ask for, really?
Brilliant. Okay, lovely. Is there any other bits that you want to share on that, or should we move on to Millie, who we won't be able to stop talking about Antarctica once you start? So.
I just wanted to share,
Yeah.
obviously the staterooms that we have allocated here. So it will be a prestige stateroom on deck
Brilliant.
5. Our
Mhm.
staterooms are, of course, comfortable. They're spacious, especially for a small expedition, purpose-built ship like ours.
Mhm.
Prestige staterooms, they boast 24-hour room service. There's unlimited Wi-Fi throughout the ship as well. There is a high-end, top-of-the-line bath products, Diptyque, Hermes, to give you an idea. Large panoramic windows, sliding windows, private balcony, and then mini bar with your favorite beverages that's restocked twice a day. There's also an espresso coffee machine. There's a boiler. There are fine teas, Palais de Thés, Palace of Teas, and also you have a choice of pillows from our pillow menu as well, just to name a few. But Antarctica is a world of pure wonder, and for me, it sort of invited me to pause, reflect, and sort of lose myself in this pristine beauty. Most guests, they tend to spend time looking out and enjoying the stunning vistas, enjoying the experience of the silent majesty of Antarctica. You can see the ice and towering peaks. They're perfectly mirrored in this still glassy waters. It's absolutely incredible. Paradise Bay, here there's on day 3 or 4. And Boreal, the ship, she boasts generous outdoor deck space. So it's perfect for soaking up those stunning views. And remember, there's a heated pool on board, so it's perfect for a bit of a dip with a view. You definitely won't get this kind of view back home.
No.
Yeah, my thinking was, why not? I'm gonna go for a dip in there. I mean, I kind of wished I could do it every other weekend. So there we go. And on one of the lovely touches on Ponant ships, and not every expedition ship actually offers that, is the open bridge policy. And I've briefly mentioned it earlier. It's a really important element. So guests, they do appreciate it because you can pop to the bridge, up to the bridge, meet the officers on duty and the captain if he's there, and have a conversation, have a proper chat. They're always happy, the officers and the captain, to share stories about the destination, the ship, or even the company itself, and answer any questions.
And let you sit in the chair,
Yeah,
obviously.
like you said in the chat. So just to wrap up, final a couple of slides, really. We'll send you all the information. Millie and Victoria will send you all the information and all the details anyway, but I'm just going to put this on the screen for you here. Really quickly about the inclusions. So of course the excursions are included. You can expect at least 1, if not 2 excursions per day, weather permitting. Okay, boots are for you to use during the expedition, so you don't need to bring your own wellies. We have all sizes, so that's fine. And we also offer you a free or included parka jacket for you to keep. So you don't need to bring your own, unless you want to, a bulky jacket. So we provide that to you. All meals and drinks package. There's unlimited Wi-Fi, so you can send those photos back home to your friends and family, or upload them onto Facebook or social media. There's 24-hour room service, so you can enjoy breakfast in bed or in your private balcony. Hammam steam room, of course, and open bridge access. And it wouldn't be complete, my little spiel, if I hadn't included a video on penguins.
I think this is something that Millie's quite excited about,
Just a
definitely.
little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit.
I think these two, uh, they were chasing each other and they were playing with each other, and
Oh.
Your
this is
jellies are
kind of
snappy.
yeah, and they sort of kind of like paused and stopped a little bit when they realized that we were observing them, and
You've got this on camera?
yeah. So this is the thing. So this is interesting you say this because the first day or two, I was seeing and experiencing Antarctica through the rectangular screen on my phone,
Mm.
really. And by day three, I realized, and actually someone told me, put the phone down and just have a look around you,
Yeah.
experience it. So, and that's
Good
exactly what I did.
advice.
So,
Yeah,
yeah,
good
yeah. So
advice.
that's one of the small advices I would give. Yeah, but no, that's as a quick few slides on that, of
Brilliant.
course. So yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you for that, Vlad. That's great. And it's made me even more jealous that I'm not coming on this trip with you all because that looks incredible. So yeah, thank you. So now over to you, Millie. And again, let's try and keep this as brief as we can because she could talk this evening about Antarctica if any of you have had conversations with her about it before. So what is it about Antarctica that's drawing you back, I suppose, is the big question.
I think I was incredibly privileged to have travelled to Antarctica, to have been offered the opportunity to go back in 2023. It's always been number one top of my list. Never thought it would happen, to be honest, because it's not necessarily like hopping over to Spain for the weekend, is it? It's quite a tricky, lengthy journey to get there, but my God, is it worth it? It's one of those experiences that I can't compare to anything else I've done. Being working here at Ponders, we're very lucky. We get to experience so many parts of the world in so many different ways as well, in ways that we maybe wouldn't have chosen for ourselves initially, and it broadens the horizons. But there's nothing to compare to a trip to Antarctica. The main thing that I wanted to talk about on that remit was about expedition cruising as a whole, because for any of you who maybe haven't done an expedition cruise before, but have done any other kind of cruise, whether that's be a river cruise, or I don't want to call it a standard ocean cruise, but more of a pleasure cruise with a set itinerary, it just ignore it, forget all about it. You can't compare the two, and I think that's something that surprises a lot of people and surprised me when I experienced it for the first time. When you're in Antarctica for the 4 days, I believe, that we're lucky enough to spend there, we know that we're going to be along the peninsula, and that is all we know. And for a lot of people, that's strange in a way, because normally we're used to being told, oh, we're going to arrive into this port at 8 a.m. and leave it at 4 p.m. and roughly what you're getting in for. But the beauty of that is that while you don't know what you're going to see, you will be pleasantly surprised, whatever that is. Vlad, you mentioned something that I really resonated with about how every single day felt like it was better than the last. It was the top day. I absolutely felt the same for me. Our team, when I was on board and I was in Antarctica, we were caught in some weather occurrences that meant that there were one or two opportunities we didn't get. However, they worked tirelessly to make sure that they were charting all the maps and the weather patterns, and they brought us to some parts of Antarctica they hadn't initially anticipated, but we saw so much. We saw so many types of penguin, whale, seal, all within the span of minutes in some cases. We were able to see so much, some pristine ocean that was just like a lake that was untouched, and a family of humpback whales just cresting 500 meters away from us. And then also we got to see the incredible icebergs, the glaciers, and just feel that Antarctic wind, because actually that time of year, it's the Antarctic summer. When I went, it was 2 degrees in Antarctica. It was colder at home. But the glacial wind is really something. It's very different, but like Vlad said as well, it's not something that feels, it's not strenuous, you don't have to train for it. It's not like you have to rack up a certain amount of steps a day to ensure you're fit enough to go. As long as you can step in and out of a Zodiac, you will be assisted. As long as you can see what's around you and just want to take it all in, then that's all you really need.
Wow.
Have I done all right? Was that
You've
too
done
long?
all right. It was definitely not too long. I was going to let you keep going a bit longer. Inspiring, definitely. And I'm really excited for you to get to experience this again.
Yeah.
And again, with this itinerary that we've picked, which again
Yeah.
we'll go into in a minute, it's not just the Antarctic Peninsula which we're looking at. And I think for a lot of people, it's such a big trip, it's such a distance to go.
Yeah.
If we're going to do it, let's do it properly. So that's why we've landed on this
Yeah.
itinerary. So that leads into the next question, I suppose. First of all, why have we picked this itinerary? Why have we picked Ponant? Obviously, Vlad's gone
Yeah.
into that quite well for us already. Yeah, go
Yeah.
ahead.
So yeah, as you mentioned with the itinerary, I mean, when I went, I was very, very lucky to experience the peninsula, and it was absolutely stunning. There's so much to see and do. Every corner you turn looks different, and not equally every single year the terrain is completely different, because it melts and it refreezes, and it melts and it refreezes. So you can go year in year if you're lucky enough and see something entirely different. But when I've been speaking to so many of you at for example, the London travel shows, luxury and destinations we do every year, whether it's on the phone, whoever I've spoken to, or babbled on about for hours about Antarctica, one of the things that's really popped up in a lot of conversations is because it's so far away, because of the expense of the trip, because of the uniqueness and the bucket list, once in a lifetime type essence to the trip, a lot of you really wanted to do it properly. That the Falklands and South Georgia are absolute wildlife capitals of the world. You know, there's no contest, especially South Georgia. When you're looking at all the fuzzy little king penguins, and the elephant seals, that's something that you cannot experience anywhere else. So what I love about this itinerary most, and I'll go into Ponant in a moment, but the itinerary itself is that we start in Ushuaia, we travel to the Falklands, we can see the history there. It has an incredibly daunting but really important whaling history that is very sad but incredibly important to take in, and very moving at times. Then we travel down to South Georgia, we spend quite a few days there experiencing the wildlife. I've heard that it's very, very loud, and it's very, it can be smelly. The penguins have a certain scent around them, but oh my god, the photo opportunities there, the wildlife essence that you just simply can't get in any other part of Antarctica or the world is something very special. But then we save the best till last, and then we travel across the Weddell Sea down to the peninsula, and then we have those special 4 days there where we will just see as much as Ponant will take us to see, as much as the weather will allow, as much as is there, and that time of year as well. Another reason why we've chosen this itinerary is peak wildlife capital time. There was a few opportunities when we looked at the dates to go perhaps towards the end of this year or the end of next year, October, November time, and those are the perfect times to go for the incredible scenery and the ice sculptures, which are just coming out of the winter season, so that they're at their largest, even though we'll see plenty. But the wildlife isn't so much there, because that's when they're just starting to travel down. It's really the December, January times that you start to see breeding season, and then it gets into February and late February into March, where the whales are everywhere and the seals are everywhere, and all those fledgling angry little teenage penguin chicks are growing up and waddling around and learning, you know, they're shedding their fluff and turning into adult penguins ready to swim off. And a lot of penguins, when they start swimming off, they don't come back to land for 2 years. It's fascinating. I'm only mildly obsessed with all of the nature around it, but I'm so excited to share it. I think if we're going to do it, this is the best way to do it. And I'll move on to the reason we chose Ponant as well. And we've worked with Ponant for a number of years now. We've always had incredible responses from any of our guests, no matter where in the world, and they travel to many different destinations. We've got the brochure here if anyone wants a copy. Wherever that may be, whether it's French Polynesia, whether it's Europe, whether it's Canada, wherever it may be, we've always had such good feedback. When I went to Antarctica last time, I learned so much about what you really need to get out of the experience, especially as a first-time traveller down to the destination. And you know, when we first had the conversations, Vlad, I think I grilled you a little bit and was asking you all of those questions, and I was incredibly happy with the responses, knowing that the ships are of a size where they're not going to allow over a certain number of guests to coincide with the Antarctic Treaty, giving us the most amount of time off the ship and on land or on the Zodiacs as possible was the most important thing for me. Having the right itinerary and the right dates, obviously that was critical to make sure that we could make this work. having all those inclusions there as well, the naturalist guides on board, having those kind of core focuses. I like what you said about the edutainment. I've not heard that before. That's a great word. All of those really amalgamate into this mixing pot of just fun, learning, adventure, photography, wildlife. It's the best way, I think, to do it. So I was very impressed with what Ponant had to say about that. But we did our research. It'd be silly to say we didn't do our research. We spoke to a handful of different operators. I scoured the websites and the brochures of other competitors for a long time, a few weeks ago. And I think one thing that I just couldn't believe when we had these conversations is the price. It's not a cheap destination. No one, you know, we'd be lying if we said that it was. But when we were comparing similar kind of dates with the product and the types of ship and what you can offer, even compared to ones that didn't offer anywhere near the kind of service that Ponant do, the kind of experience, the in-depth detail, the price is fantastic. I think I sent it to everyone in my initial email. The prices we were kind of finding with other operators were anywhere between about 18,000 to about 35 grand each for a similar itinerary. So we did our due diligence and we searched, and I genuinely feel that was the cherry on the top for me. We found the product that matched exactly what I want to share with all of you, exactly what we want to bring you to see, while also making sure that it's the most value for money that we could get. So I think that in every single way, Vlad, you smashed it out the park there.
Thank you very much, Millie. Yeah, no,
Gonna be glad that's recorded, aren't you?
Yeah. Just on the back of you saying, Millie, yeah, the Great Austral Loop, starting in the Ushuaia, Falkland Islands, South Georgia Peninsula, it's a truly epic journey because I think think of it as the ultimate southern adventure, taking you from Ushuaia to the end of, which is the end of the world, the southernmost city in the world, through to the Falkland Islands, which is wildlife rich as well. You've got all the penguins there. You've got South Georgia as well, and right down to the Antarctic Peninsula. So you'll have the chance to spot everything, really, from king penguin colonies that are 300,000 strong to elephant seals, fur seals, and more. And just in terms of the whole experience, I think the ship is as you say, is half the story, but the real magic comes from the people on board, especially the expedition team. And Ponant amongst the few, we're quite lucky and fortunate in that we've been operating for over 35 years and designing our route itineraries and retaining the captains and some of the expedition team as well, so we can offer that level of service and expertise to our customers, and that's been part of the success formula for us.
Definitely, it's definitely part of the feedback that we get from the product as a whole as well, not just this part of it. But yeah, again, this particular trip isn't necessarily just about the ship, it's about everything else, and then the ship's a bonus because it's great, but it is still important. And for clients that are spending the kind of money that, yes, again, this is still not a cheap trip, it's great value for what you're able to do here, but what you're getting included is brilliant. Absolutely. I had a few other questions listed down, but you've covered them all beautifully in that. So I'm just gonna give a little opportunity for everyone, if you've got any other more specific questions that you want answering now that we've not gone into, could you pop them in the comments box and we can try and get onto them shortly. Otherwise, we're going to send a follow-up email to everyone that was here, and just see if there is anything tomorrow that we can help with, and we're going to share this around also.
One thing that I was going to say that I haven't mentioned yet, when I last went, I think I made some packing errors and things that were great, so I'm absolutely more than happy to share that with any of you. There's lots of advice I can give about what I think is worth bringing, not worth bringing, whether you're going to need certain camera equipment, whether your GoPro is going to work in the water, because I found that out the hard way as well. So there's lots of different things that we can we can provide that way as well. Kevin, you've asked a really good question there. So what would be your tips for us to maximize our enjoyment? I think with this kind of experience, you I'd say attend every lecture is the first thing I'd say. We've got quite a few sea days within the itinerary due to the kind of destinations that we're going to. I found that attending those lectures towards the beginning, you know, when we're traveling over to the Falkland Islands, we've got that kind of first day at sea there. Learn as much as you can, because by the time you get there, that's when you turn into your own David Attenborough, and you can sit there on the zodiacs and go, oh, that's a Weddell seal, and that's this kind of bird, and that's this kind of whale, and you know it. And you can really just just feel closer to it that way as well. And then you've also said, I don't know if you have anything else to add there, Vlad, before I move on to the next question.
I wanted to say that on Ponant ships, where there's an opportunity for our guests to join a table during lunch or dinner, to sit together with an expedition guide, a naturalist guide. So you'll have lunch and dinner with them, and that's a great opportunity to learn about their research, hear their story, and just have a human conversation.
On a more personal level as well. Yeah,
you know, exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
On my expedition, I met a geologist, and it was his 40th time to Antarctica. So it's quite fascinating. Yeah. So that would be one of my tips.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Another thing I'd probably say there as well is, which I don't know, maybe wouldn't be as expected, but really just rewind in your downtime. There'll be lots of times during the trip where we'll be sailing in some stunning places around. Take a book, sit there and just breathe it in and just be. One thing you mentioned earlier, Vlad, was, you know, don't always have the camera, put it down, take it in, enjoy it. And I really think that is massively part of it. When I was down there, I read a really interesting book about the Belgica expedition, which was one of the first, well, it was the first ship that wintered in Antarctica. And it was quite interesting because some of the places in the book we went to then the next day or the day before, and that was fascinating. So I can recommend that book to anyone as well. But definitely just unwind, sit, watch everything around you, leave the planning, leave the traveling to Ponant. They will make the best of it. All you need to do is just be there when they tell you to be there, and take as much of it in from that perspective as well.
And again, with that, hopefully, obviously, with Millie and her husband Owen there too, should there be anything else that you're unsure of, or you're wanting a little bit extra in the side of planning things, or you want to organise a meal together, Millie will be more than happy. I'm speaking on your behalf.
No,
we have spoken about that already.
Yeah.
To help organise that and be a part of that with you, because as Vlad said, this is about the people that you're sharing it with just as much as the experience itself. So I think that'll be really important.
Yeah.
We've got another question there from Kevin about an opportunity to share missed photos. I'm not sure if that's something that you did on yours, or if it's something that you've experienced before.
Yes, absolutely. So on our ships, we have typically 2 photographers and 1 videographers who document the experience. And small side note, it really makes you feel like you're in the middle of your own documentary series every day. It's quite fascinating. There is an opportunity, yes. So we have a photo library media room, basically with large screens, so you can flick through every photo taken by our photographers of that day, and you'll have the option to print, download, print, take them back home with you. So that's one of the options. I'm not sure if you can see behind me, there's a map just over there. So that's the map or the route of my expedition last year. So there's an option to purchase a map separately, which is stamped and signed, so it's a nice little memento as an opportunity as well.
That's really nice.
Absolutely. And with that as well, I think one thing that we will absolutely do as a group is make sure that there is, whether it's a WhatsApp group chat or some sort of shared photos, I'll ask anyone to send any photos they want to contribute over to me, and I will make something on our return, as I think a few of you who've been put on part of our escorteds before have experienced. We've put together photo books and the such, but this is one of my first escorted, so I want to try and make it as special as I can,
so she can do more.
Yeah. Absolutely, but we'll absolutely arrange something within the group of us as well. But I'm glad you mentioned that, Vlad, because that's something that I was able to enjoy on the trip that I did too. There was a photo sharing facility, and everyone was able to kind of submit whatever they wanted or use other people's photos if there was something in particular that was missed. I know that on my trip there was a group who was part of our group who saw an amazing like minke whale just underneath their zodiac. We were on the other side of the island at that point looking at some other incredible things. We had some chin strap penguins that were putting on a great show in front of us, but we were able to then share those photos between us and know that regardless of whether there's one or two things that you might have missed, you've seen the majority, but you can certainly take those photos back with you.
If I may just quickly on that point as well, in my experience, it's normal, it's natural. You meet people on a small ship experience, and you become friends.
Yeah.
And on my trip, we had guests from all over the world, from Asia, North America, obviously UK. France as well. So it was an international group, but it felt like one big family, and everyone was sharing photos. And there was a group, WhatsApp group. Obviously, you have unlimited Wi-Fi, so yeah, you've got that opportunity as well for you.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that wholeheartedly. I was part of an agent group when I went, but I'm friends with probably about 10 to 20 different people who were just guests on the ship. And on a ship that small, it's you do absolutely, you see everyone around and you get chatting, and everyone's just so excited to be taking part in something so spectacular. So everyone's very like-minded in a lot of ways that way. So it truly does feel like a very, very intimate experience. It's it's very special.
Brilliant. Amazing. Well, again, just going to reiterate that I'm even more jealous now. So I'm sure you're all going to have an amazing time, and hopefully we can encourage some more of you to join Millie and Owen as well. Is there any other questions? Just last couple of seconds. Anyone else got anything they want to ask, or either Millie or Vlad that you want to add that we've missed?
Well, I'm sure, I mean, as you know, I could go on for hours and hours more, but I won't, because I won't keep all of your evenings. But any questions at all that you think of later down the line, you've all got my email address, so please just pop me a message, whatever it may be. Don't worry about bombarding me with questions. I love it, I promise. We're happy to answer anything that you have. But just as a reminder as well, I can see a couple people joined us during the talk as well, is that we have these incredible rates until the 7th of July, and I would love to, I'd love to have more of you joining us. It would be so nice to have a proper little Ponders Antarctic group. I think it would be an incredibly special experience. I hope that we've shown you through just these last 45 minutes that for those of you that are booked on, really have chosen something so special, and for those of you that haven't, then maybe now be the time to join us.
Definitely, yeah, that's exactly it. So if you can let us know over the next couple of days, we really need to know by Monday next week what's going on. So get in touch, any questions, any kind of bits that you still want to know, let's help you get there and get you to join Millie on this wonderful trip.
Absolutely.
So thank you everyone, really appreciate your time this evening. Hope it's been really helpful and insightful for those that are joining, and kind of encourage those that are not to definitely to get involved.
And for anyone that did join a bit later, we have recorded this session, so we'll be posting that tomorrow. We'll be sending links out to everyone, so if you want to rewatch any parts of it, if there's anything that you missed, then just feel free to watch that, share it with anyone if you think anyone might like to join us as well.
Definitely.
But thank you very much, Vlad, for your time as well. We're so excited to be working with Ponant on this, as you really do have an incredible brand that we know will be so perfect for this experience.
Oh, thank you so much. It's a great pleasure, and thank you for the opportunity. And look forward to welcoming everyone on board.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. Have a lovely evening, guys.